Hello everyone, my name is Ark and we're playing some Ark Mobile. In today's video, I'm going to go over 10 tips and tricks for beginners in Ark Mobile. And if you're not a beginner, check them out, maybe there's something new for you. Let's go! Alright guys, number one on this list is how to zoom out, and this, believe it or not, is something I didn't know for the longest time. My viewers actually showed me this. You guys actually showed this to me. So when you go into your control settings, you'll notice, hold on, I'm getting attacked by compies. Guys, you are interrupting my new video. Come on. So anyways, what I was talking about is zooming in and out. So the zooming out actually gives you a wider range of vision. So let me show you how to get there. You go into your settings and go to the controls tab, and you'll notice the left multi-tap says zoom camera. So that essentially allows you to zoom in and out up to 25% each way. The way you do the left multi-tap is you essentially take two fingers and tap the left side of your screen, and now that's not a double tap. You don't tap the left side of your screen, this left side of the screen twice in a row. You tap with both fingers at the same time, and you'll see it cycles through 25 in, 12.5 in, 0, so that's like normal, 12.5 out, 25 out. It just gives you more vision, better vision. Get out of here, Pteranodon. You're in the way. Anyways, sorry, Pteranodon. Anyways, it lets you zoom in and out. It just gives you better vision, and that's something that most people don't even know about. I didn't know about it for the longest time. You can also do the same thing in first person, so it just gives you a little bit of a better vision that way as well. It does take some getting used to, because it changes the vision. So if you're used to playing one way and you haven't done it, it takes a little bit of getting used to. But if you do get used to it, it's better to be zoomed out like this. Trust me. Alright, now tip number 2, guys, is super important, and this is really just for the beginners that are watching this. If you've been playing for a while, you probably already know this. But tip number 2 is, if you're playing on a PvP server, do not build on the beach. And I mean, you can build on the beach if you want. I mean, it is right next to a water source, so that's good. However, when you're a beginner, the minute you put a structure up on the beach, within a day, you will probably get raided or wiped. Any PvP server will probably have people scouting the server, looking around the server, whether it's the alphas of the server or other people on the server, but they're going to be looking around, and anything on the beach is easy to see. So where you should be building is somewhere a little more hidden. Now up here, you see how it's in the trees. This isn't really the greatest spot either, especially when you're talking about rendering on mobile devices and whatnot, so the trees kind of render out when you're further away, and sometimes the structures render in. But it is definitely a far better option than on the beach itself, because there's nothing to cover you on the beach. Everyone that's flying overhead is going to see you. So if you put a structure there, it's going to get attacked. Try to hide your structure at least somewhat. Even if you're new to the game, put it, under the trees or something, so it's not right there on the beach. Alright, now tip number 3, guys, really applies to everybody. This definitely applies to the beginners, the ones who aren't really familiar with every aspect of this game yet, but this also really does apply to the intermediate and more advanced players, because even you guys will get comfortable with what you have in the game and the different items and blueprints and tames that you've acquired over time through playing. So this really applies to everybody. And that's including myself, by the way. I honestly deal with the exact same thing. What that tip is don't get too attached to anything in the game. If you're going to play PvP, your stuff will eventually get destroyed and taken. It doesn't matter how good your base is, how good your tribe is, how good you are. At some point, somebody's going to wipe you. Somebody's going to raid you, or something's going to glitch. It happens. It's a game. It's programming. At the end of the day, that's what it is. You're going to lose your stuff. Even if you're on PvE or PvX or one of those servers, sometimes you get other players that are what are called griefers, is they try to find a way to steal your stuff or to destroy your stuff. It's fun for them. Sometimes they steal it and they get the stuff out of it, but people will find a way. So never get permanently attached to your stuff. At some point, you're going to lose it. As long as you can accept that before it happens, when it does happen, you'll be okay and you'll be able to just move on and keep playing. And that's really what this game is. That's the reward risk aspect of it. The reward is you can get some really cool stuff in the game at any point because you get it off somebody's dead body, right? But the side effect of that is at some point someone's going to get that good stuff off of your dead body. So you just kind of got to get used to it, get ready for it. Don't get too attached, and you'll have a good time with it as long as you can understand that that's just a key aspect of the game. Tip number 4, guys, is Bolas are your friend, especially for beginners. So as you can see, I've got a raptor that is attacking me, and I've got a bola out, and I'm gonna try to make sure I hit this guy, because when they're attacking so close it gets a little tricky. There we go. See, the bola went ahead and froze him, stopped him in his tracks. He can't get on me. um, I'm obviously in single player and have invulnerability on, that's why it wasn't dealing damage to me. But if I was a beginner on a PvP server, I could freeze him just like this, and then he'd be stuck. Now he does get out of it eventually, but I can come up here, I can hit him on the backside if I only have a melee weapon, or I can shoot him if I have a ranged weapon, and he can't do anything about it, because that's what bullets do. They're also super useful for PvP, right? If somebody comes up and is trying to attack you in PvP, let's say it's a level 50 guy, and you're level 15, but you've made bolas, or you've gotten your hand on some bolas, you throw that bola at the guy and he's frozen, and then you can try to shoot him from further away, or if you want to try getting close, you can try to club him to knock him out as well, you know. But since you can move and he can't, you can always back away, he can't. So that's why they're super useful for not just beginners, you know, with the raptors and the dinos, but also for PvP players as well, regardless of level. Now the last thing they're also super useful for is for taming the most important beginner creature in the entire game, and that is the Pteranodon. This is how you knock out a Pteranodon. You tame it. You bola it first, then you knock it out. All it usually takes is 1 or 2 shots in the head with a trank arrow. So I've only got combos on me, so it kills it. But if I had trank arrows and I had a crossbow or regular bow, I could knock it out in 1 or 2 shots. The bola would keep it still so it doesn't move. And if you notice, they're super cheap to make. So it's very useful for the very beginning of the game and all the way through the rest of the game. And you learn it at level 7. Like, you learn it at such a low level. They're so easy to make, and they're useful for the rest of the game. So definitely learn how to use them effectively. Understand that they are super useful for PvP, PvE, and for taming. Very great thing to use, very great thing to have. Learn to use them, learn to love them. They are your friends, bolas. Alright guys, number 5 on this list is not the smithy. It's something that is made in the smithy, and that is grapples. Grapples are your best friend. If bolas are your friends, grapples are your best friends, especially as you get better and better at the game. Grapples are useful in so many situations, it's unbelievable. You would be amazed at how useful they are in different situations. Alright, so take a look. You learn it at level 47. So that's not quite beginner, right? But eventually everyone gets to that level and they are super useful. Now the most obvious thing they're useful for is grappling up to things, right? So this is not as important in the environment, right? You can usually climb your way up the top of a mountain using the pathways, but I'll kind of show you when I get to this mountain here just how to use the grapple. But you know, they're not as useful necessarily in the environment, but when you're raiding a base, for example, let's say you break in on the ground level and you end up destroying the ladder or the ramp that goes up to the second level, the grapples are there so that you can grapple your way right up to the loot on top. So that's how they're important in that situation. Now, the other more important situation, obviously, where grapples are really important is pretty much every PvP fight. So even in terms of basic PvP, let's say you're having a pick fight, that means that you're both on flying tames and you're trying to pick each other and drop each other, right? If somebody picks you, you could do one of two things. You can either grapple their tame and then lower yourself down so they can no longer damage you and they can't drop you, or you can grapple the ground below you to get out of the tame's, grab. That's how you can escape it. And now as you can see too, I've actually grappled the rock above, and when I swipe down on the left side, it lowers me a little bit. If I double tap the right side, it'll continue to pull me up closer until I let go. And then to release the grapple, you press that button that was over there on the right side of the screen. Now the other way that the grapples are useful is when you're trying to weight grapple something. What that means, looks like I missed. What that means is if you have, let's say you buy leg day, you pick up a whole bunch of stone, you put like 2,000 stone on you because you've got leg day and you can carry a whole bunch of stuff. You grapple a enemy tame like a Quetzal, a Giga, whatever it is, and as you can see, I've grappled the tree. So you can even grapple trees. But let's say you grapple that enemy tame, they will no longer be able to move if your total weight is higher than their max weight, because it adds to that creature's total weight. So that's how it's also useful in PvP. And now the other way you can use it in PvP is you can actually grapple the other player. So I've grappled this raptor, but I don't think this is going to work. I think it's going to actually, yeah, it just pulls me towards him. But if you were to grapple another player, let's say you grapple another player and then you start running, that player is going to get dragged with you. You're essentially going to drag that player behind you. That's super useful because then they can't run away from you, number one. Number two, if you move a certain distance, it kind of like shoots them further, and it's difficult to manage when you're that player that's been grappled. And last but not least, let's say you have turrets nearby, you can drag that enemy player into your turrets, and then he'll die because he can't get away because you've grappled him. So super useful. You know, bolas are your friend, grapples are your best friend. Get used to them, learn how to use them. You know, use grapples. Alright guys, number 6 on the list is parachutes. Parachutes you can learn at level 22. Okay, that's not too high, it's still pretty low, and parachutes will save you many times, both in PvP and PvE. It'll obviously save you in PvP because if you get picked and dropped somehow, or if you somehow get carried and dropped from a high level, you want to, or a high, height, you want to make sure you can survive it. So use the parachute to survive that. In PvE, sometimes glitches happen. You get dismounted from your flying tame, and you're going to end up falling and dying unless you got a parachute. So parachutes are always good to have in your hotbar, at least a few of them. Now, once you use a parachute, you can't get out of it until you hit the ground. The only loophole is if you use a grapple. Remember, your best friend is if you use a grapple to grapple yourself down to the ground. So you should always be carrying around bolas, grapples, and parachutes. All three are super useful to have. And you can actually also use grapples in conjunction with the parachute aside from just going back to the ground. You can use them to kind of change direction and get further and go different ways. Or even get higher. You could grapple something above you to drag yourself higher and continue to glide with the parachute. Super useful. So you should definitely get used to using parachutes as well. Number 7 on the list, guys, is the barrel roll. Now this is definitely for beginners, because I'm sure a lot of the players who have done this for a while have already learned how to do the barrel roll. If you're anything like me though, when I was first starting, I had the hardest time figuring out how to actually use the barrel roll because it just wasn't quite clear anywhere that I looked for how to do it. Essentially, in the controls under your settings, you see right multi-tap. Now I think it actually starts off default as something else, but if you change it to the reload alt attack 2, that'll allow you to do the barrel roll by tapping 2 fingers on the right side of the screen. And now that is not a double tap, it's tapping 2 fingers at the exact same time, and that'll allow you to do the barrel roll with the Pteranodon. This is beneficial because it's faster. You can change direction almost immediately in the spur of a moment by using the barrel roll. Super useful move to have. And now the other moves on the Pteranodons is what I was showing you earlier, is you tap the right side with 1 finger just to regular attack, swipe up on the left to pick up players or other small creatures, and swipe down to land. But the barrel roll, multi-tap the right side of the screen, really good move to learn, really good move to have, but that's how you do it. Alright, number 8 on the list, guys, and this is for beginners, intermediate, advanced. This is for everybody because I know you've all had to deal with this, and that is how to deal with lag. And not necessarily, I shouldn't say how to deal with lag, but how to help prevent lag. Now obviously larger bases cause more lag, weaker phones cause more lag, things like that. But the things that you can change easily is in the video section of the settings. Make sure your graphics quality is on low, your resolution is all the way to the left, and then make sure that your preserve battery mode is on. Those 3 things will make your lag way less difficult to deal with. It'll just give you the best chance at a lag-free gameplay. So let me show you guys what it looks like when you change it to medium and turn off preserve battery mode. So see, it already, you can tell the difference. You can already see the difference. There's shadows. It already looks different, but that creates more lag because that's more video effects in the game for your phone to deal with. And now let me go ahead and show you what it looks like on high settings. So if you look even more advanced settings, I mean, you can already tell the difference between medium and high. It's insane. The trees, the leaves are more defined. The shadows, there's a bunch of little plants on the ground. Now watch Epic. Check this out. Look at the leaves on the trees, and then you see that, and then look at like these little things on the ground, the little, grass and flowers and stuff like that. When it's on low settings, you don't see this stuff. So does it make the game look better? Yes. But does it cause lag? Absolutely. So if you change it back to low, turn preserve battery mode on, make sure your resolution's all the way to the left, a lot less quality in terms of graphics on the game, but definitely a lot less lag. So that's how you deal with that. Also, guys, the other suggestion for lag is make sure your battery is fully charged. If the battery's on a low charge, you'll get more lag. If it's on a full charge, less lag. Just my experience, but that is how you help prevent lag in the game. Number 9. So this is definitely a beginner thing, and I still see it to this day with beginners asking on the official Ark Mobile Discord, and that is, why doesn't the egg hatch when I put it down? And all you intermediate players in the back, don't be laughing. This is a legit question that beginners have. I had the exact same question when I started. The reason is because the egg is not fertilized, and just because your tamed female dropped the egg, even next to a male, does not mean it is fertilized. As you can see, the egg didn't look fertilized, it just looked like an egg. The way you actually get a fertilized egg is you put both your male and female on wander, make sure they're close enough together, and make sure they don't move away from each other. You also cannot be mounted on them when you do this. The easiest way to do it is just continuously whistle stop after they're on wander. Anyways though, if you want to see more breeding type stuff and things like this, I do have videos on the channel with regards to breeding, but I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead so I can show you the difference between a fertilized egg and a regular egg. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and drop the fertilized egg first, and then I'm going to drop the regular egg right here. Now look at the difference, number 1 in the red smoke around it, and number 2 at the information that shows up at the top of your screen on each one. This one just says Pteranodon egg decomposes. This one says fertilized Pteranodon egg. It has an egg incubation time and an egg health. So there's definitely a difference when you're looking at it. There's also red smoke that surrounds the fertilized egg. Now in your inventory, it also shows a difference. The fertilized one shows the 2 parents. The regular one just shows what you get by consuming it. So that's essentially how you can tell the difference. You can also eat them. You can eat the fertilized egg too. Make sure you don't eat it though, because you want to hatch it. But that's the difference. That's how you can tell the difference. That's why your regular egg is not hatching. It's because you have to get a fertilized egg to get it to hatch. Alright guys, so tip number 10. This is going to be another beginner tip, but it can apply to intermediate and advanced as well. Maybe you haven't leveled up a bunch of characters in the past. Maybe you haven't had to start new characters much in the past. So for you guys, this might be useful knowledge for you. But that is the pursuits, specifically the Dilophosaurus, the Mega Piranha, and the Terror Bird. Otherwise, the Dilos, the Piranhas, and the Terror Bird. Those 3 pursuits, and right now I'm trying to show you guys the Dilo and Piranhas are at the top. Terror Bird's not there because I already finished it, so that's why you don't see the Terror Bird pursuit, the hunt Terror Bird. But these 3 pursuits are super important when you're starting a new character on a server, because the Dilo one will give you an ascendant bow and arrow, or ascendant bow I mean, just not a combo but a regular bow. The Piranha will give you a soothing balm, a 10 times soothing balm. The Terror Bird will give you an ascendant sword. All 3 of those things are so important for the beginning of the game and for leveling and for all that stuff. The sword's great for leveling, so you can kill a whole bunch of stuff. The bow is great for leveling because you can kill a bunch of stuff, and the bow is great for taming because you'll get more torpor applied per trank arrow. Super easy. It is super easy to knock out a Pteranodon with that bow that you will get. Takes 1 trank arrow to the head, sometimes 2 if it's like a 150. And then with the Piranha, you get the soothing balm. So all you got to do, knock out the Pteranodon with that bow, use the balm on it. You can just get some prime meat, and you will tame up a Pteranodon faster than you can fry a chicken. It is so amazing. Anyways, that is my 10 beginners tips and tricks for Ark Mobile. If you did enjoy the content, if you learned anything from it at all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I know this was kind of a longer video, and I know for some of you guys, you probably know a lot of these things already, but hopefully there was something new, or at the very least, if you did like the video and if you like the channel, like the video anyways, because I would still appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Also guys, don't forget to look in the description below. I have a lot of links down there. I've got a link to my Patreon if you'd like to support the channel further. I have a link to Amazon shopping if you'd like to support the channel without having to spend even a dime extra. Just by shopping on Amazon like normal, you can support me and my channel just by clicking that link before you do your normal shopping. Also, I have links to the unofficial servers that I run myself. I have 2 unofficial servers, one that is a monthly wipe, one that is just a regular server. Both currently are solo duo only. The monthly wipe will change each and every month, which is each and every season. Right now we're on season 1, if you're watching this video when it was released. Also, I have 5 links to 5 MGL unofficial servers, which are also very good servers. 4 are PvE, 1 is PvP. All 4 of them have a little bit more of an active admin presence, which is also great. It can make things a little easier, more fun, more entertaining, more events and stuff like that. And they've been around for a long time with their unofficial servers, so they're super experienced, really know what they're doing with unofficial servers. So definitely give those a shot as well. Last but not least, I do have my regular Discord server on there as well. Just click the link to the Discord if you'd like to join the Discord, where you can chat with me directly and you can get all the news and updates about me and the channel, as well as when I post the video and when I start streaming. And by the way, guys, I'm going to start streaming very soon if you are watching this when it was released. If you're watching this in the future, though, then I'm probably already streaming, so check it out. But again, just one last reminder, if you did enjoy the video, if you enjoyed the content, if you enjoy the channel in general, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to see some more likes on the videos. Lately, some of the videos I've posted have been, it's still getting a lot of support, don't get me wrong, and it's great. But I could use a few more likes, guys. Maybe get me up to like 200 likes, on a video or something. That would be awesome. Anyways, though, my name is Dark, and I will see you next time.